Hello, welcome to week 2 here at She Critique. This is Tiffany Bender, and we are looking at Jen D's pictures today. Sorry we missed you last week, Jen, but looking forward to working with you this week. Okay, let's get started. So last week I was looking at images while in Photoshop. This week I want to take them into Lightroom and utilize some of the tools in there when we're talking about some of your pictures. Okay, Jen, let's go back and take a look at what you were showing us today. All right, so the first thing I noticed was that you didn't provide any camera settings. Now, in the future, I would really love if you would do that. It would be super helpful in giving you a specific direction on, what move to make next as far as selecting camera settings and lens choice and such. So if you can, make that a point next week to submit images that you do have camera settings for. I think you'll find it really helpful. Okay, so we're going to look at this cute little guy here first. I love the story behind this. He's got all this flour all over his face. He looks so cute. Love his little expression on his face and the complementing colors. Wanted to talk about cropping first. So the first thing that kind of jumped out at me was that this little guy was dead center. So one of the reason why I decided to pull it into Lightroom as opposed to Photoshop is because there's some really kind of cool crop guides in Lightroom that will help you train your eye as far as composition goes. All right, so I've got this pulled into Lightroom. I'm actually going to go over to the Develop module. If you're not familiar with Lightroom, you might need to follow along a little bit closer here. It's pretty similar to ACR, which is a companion of Photoshop. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to this crop tool. Now, by the default, you won't probably have this little spiral guy right here. So what I'd like to see you do is head up to the Tools and go down to Crop Guide Overlay and select Golden Spiral. I really like this particular tool, and that's why I kind of brought this into Lightroom to show you. So our eyes are trained to read from left to right. So with the golden spiral, you can see it starts our image over here on the left side and brings our eye circling around the image, ending over here on the right. So as far as composition goes, I would love to see if we could crop this a little bit more pleasing for our eye. So I would start off with a crop like that. Ideally, in camera, we would have a little bit more room over here on camera left. Okay, so that would be the first thing I noticed, is that this little guy, his eyes were dead center and dead center of the frame, and my eyes were kind of static. They weren't getting drawn back through the image. So actually, I would like to crop this down a little further. So if we have our choice, his eyes would kind of fall on the top third and also the third half of the page. Now when we do this, we're losing some of this these gingerbread guys here. So if we could do this in camera, take a couple steps back, and you would want to position his eyes in camera just like this. Okay. The next thing I'm noticing is it looks like we shot this with an onboard flash. Now I don't know that for certain, but it really there's some characteristics that are lending itself to look like that. So if you could look closely here, let's see, it's kind of a small image. I can't really make it too much bigger here. Whoops. Yeah, it's the largest it will go here. So you can see the pinhole. Let me go into Photoshop. You can kind of see the pinhole catch lights here. Now, with natural light, you'll find that you have a square or rectangle catch light. What a catch light is, it's flecks of light that reflect off of your subject's eyes, and it really is what sparkles and brings your subject to life. You'll notice in a room that's very dark, or if you're shooting near dark, their eyes will be almost black and they look almost lifeless. But when you're shooting with an onboard flash, you kind of get that, the flash instantly goes off and creates that boom, little pin right here. So ideally, if you needed to use flash because it was too dark in the room, if you could get some off-camera flash, or I think you're with Nikon, maybe an SB900 or an SB600, 700. angle that slightly up to the ceiling and to the left or to the right and kind of bounce that off the ceiling, you might get a little bit more pleasing catch lights, as well as shadowing. So you can see here, when you're using an onboard flash, you're kind of washing out their skin tones a little bit, and you've got this harsh shadow kind of falling back in here. So I think next time, if you can try to utilize natural light or bouncing the flash off the ceiling, I think you're going to get results that you'll be really happy with. So those are the couple things that I wanted you to work on for next time. I do love the crisp colors that you've got in this edit. I love how vibrant the colors are, and I can't wait to see what you do with this guy next round. You know, I feel like you've got an opportunity to possibly even recreate this with the holidays coming up. Okay, let's take a look at your next image. All right, so we've got a straight out of the camera, and we've got a black and white edit. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I would love to hear a little bit more backstory about this image here. I'm having a little bit of a hard time following along in exactly what story you're trying to tell us. So you know, I'm a really big proponent of storytelling through images, and I really like my images to be purposeful and you know, for the viewer to be able to feel connected with the image. And I would like to see you do that a little bit more here. So I see that she's got, you know, she's kind of looking into the frame. Looks like there might be a cemetery right over the hill. I do love how she's standing. Her sweet little position is just adorable. But I would like to see her more connected with the image. So I see her staring down, but I'm really not exactly sure what she's looking at. I also think some help with the where the objects in the frame are lying. That would help draw my eye into the image and help keep my attention in the picture. So let's take this into Lightroom. Again, with the crop tool, we can kind of see that the elements start over here, but we're left feeling like we're not exactly sure where our eye wants to go. So I would love to see if this is going to be our focal point or if she's going to be our focal point. Let's have one of those elements fall on the far right hand side, preferably on the top right hand side of the page. So when we're shooting this next time, let's take a look at those elements and help draw our eye through the image. I also, the time of day that you chose to shot this, it looks like it's pretty bright sun. I feel like you could have gotten some nice, rich, deep tones if you had shot this a little bit closer to sunset. With maybe the light coming through the trees, I think you could have gotten some nice golden light kind of coming back on her hair. So I think the light source is coming this way. If we had waited, I'm not sure what time of day that this was. Let me see. If the light had been coming through the trees, filtering nice golden rays, had our cross maybe a little bit over here would have helped tell the story a little bit better. Let's take a look at your edit. Okay, so we went to black and white. Again here, I really would love to see a little bit more about what the story that you wanted to tell was. Okay. So our last image, let's see what we've got here, is, oh, I love this moment here. Okay, so we've got Dad is helping our little princess here with her jacket. It's such a sweet moment you captured here. I do love the processing. I think it fits the mood of the image very well. There's a couple things I'm noticing. Right away, my eye's drawn to this blowout right here where we lose all the digital data is gone right here. So this means it's overexposed, and an easy way to check that is when you're metering or when you shoot a picture, you can look at your histogram. So you can see all the way over here, and if there's any bright or high shoots or high lines up on the far right hand side, you know that you've got some areas that are blown. What's also great in Lightroom is if you click on this little arrow right here, it'll show you all the areas that have lost detail, so they're kind of highlighted in red. Alternatively, you can also do the blacks, which is the clipped. So you can click on this little thing, and the excuse me, the blues highlight all the area that has been clipped, or there's no data left over here. So we can turn this on and off. All right, and the other thing I'm noticing here is we've got kind of a pink color cast or red color cast kind of coming off of these curtains, I'm imagining. We'll take that into Photoshop and see how we can correct that a little bit. Also, Jen, what I would like you to look at when you're taking a shot, I want you to kind of pay attention to your background. So we've got some bedding, which is completely appropriate if she's standing on a bed, but I would like to see this kind of maybe a little bit neater, so it's not taking away from the image. Because right now I've got this cute little tutu and my eye's kind of drawn over here as well. We've got the blue from the comforter. I would love to be more of her to be the focal point here. What else I think you could do to really make this image stronger is to take a few steps back. I love how you've captured them peeking in the door here. You've got the door handle and it's like you're glimpsing into their world and they don't even know you're there. And I really love that about this image. So if you would take a couple more steps back, it would be much more apparent that you were peeking in the door. So you would get a little bit more of the door frame kind of peeking into their world. Okay, let's go into Photoshop and see how we can correct this little color cast here. Okay, now this is a very small image. In the future, if you want to upload or post full resolution files at 300 dpi, it might be helpful when I'm helping you do some edits. Okay, so we've got, this is a pretty decent color cast over here. I think the thing I might try first would be the color balance tool. I like to add color rather than take color away. So the opposite of red is cyan. That might not be it. It might be magenta. The opposite of magenta is green. Might be a combination of the both. So I might do a little bit of both. Invert that layer. Kind of mask that back on there. Let's see. That helped a little bit. Okay. I actually might go into reduce a little bit of the red saturation. Pull that back. I'm just masking that kind of back in here. Now, if this was on skin tones, I would never pull the reds out like that, but for on her hair. Okay. Just so you can kind of see there's before and after. So the attention is drawn more to our subject rather than to that bright spot on her hair. Okay. Well, Miss Jen, thank you so much for submitting your images this week to be critiqued. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've got for us next week. Remember, if you can, please try to get your camera settings for us, your focal length, be your ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture. All right, Jen, thank you so much, and we will talk to you next week.